Following the resignation of Secretary Shinseki last week, it really is time for some deep soul-searching about the future of the Department of Veterans Affairs. As details slowly emerge from the Inspector General's investigation, I'm struck by a disturbing aspect of organizational culture within the VA. Prioritize meeting goals and checking boxes instead of providing true quality care for veterans. Secretary Shinseki himself was a decorated veteran. And I'm sure he must be as frustrated as all of us to find some of the things that were happening. It's an overwhelming current rushing toward the path of least resistance for reporting care for the men and women who serve this nation admirably and with dedication. But we shouldn't lose sight of the hard work and commitment of the many men and women working in the VA system every day, striving to provide effective and timely care to veterans. You know, we have to tell ourselves there's really no shortcut to quality care for veterans. VA has rightly been under intense pressure and scrutiny to live up to the promise we made to veterans they agreed to serve. We have many people in this body and the other body who voted for a war that I think historians will call a disaster, the war in Iraq. They did it for the first time in America's history. They voted for a war and did not do anything to pay for it. No tax to pay for it, anything else. 10 years later, though, they said we have to watch the costs of VA health care and all that. We have to find the money. Well, that didn't bother them when they sent these men and women to war. Let's take care of them now. You know, most VA employees are tireless servants. Many are veterans themselves. And for those men and women who give their all for the veterans, it's becoming evident the systems of incentives and disincentives may have worked against them. There should be no shortcut to quality care for veterans, whether in Washington policy make circles either. Now, earlier this year, my distinguished colleague from Vermont, Senator Sanders, introduced an expansive collection of many needed reforms here in the Senate. Unfortunately, like so many bills we tried to consider this year, partisan objections stalled progress based on procedural rather than substantive matters. Some of the same people who have been so critical of this administration and the VA were the same ones who voted to block going forward with needed reforms. Well, the Senate's going to get another opportunity to consider a comprehensive collection of reforms and must prompt some meaningful bipartisan action here in the Senate. Let's not play gotcha. Let's play help you to the veterans. That's what we need to do. My wife began her nursing career as a brand new registered nurse in the VA hospital. I know how hard she worked and those around her. They were veterans of a different generation, but they needed help and care just as much as everybody else. So I look forward to the Senate's consideration of legislation introduced yesterday by Senator Sanders. I'm proud to co-sponsor it. Many reforms are needed within the VA. The Restoring Veterans Trust Act takes an important step toward achieving those changes. And of course, additional reforms are needed. And so today I'm introducing legislation to address one shortfall of the VA that's existed far too long. Current law provides a disincentive to cost-effective on-site medical care solutions when operating rooms are refurbished or rebuilt within a VA hospital or care facility. Because the VA must report any major medical facility costs exceeding $10 million to Congress, the VA is encouraged to pay for veterans care in outside facilities, including travel to and from those facilities out of the medical services account. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's a different pot of money. So that way they don't have to have an extensive report. But the best solution for veterans And the bottom line may very well be a temporary on-site facility. The bill is simple, but attempts to take the allure of a shortcut away by ensuring the expense of temporary off-care site is calculated and reported. Senator Sanders, chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, has said, if you think it's too expensive to take care of our veterans, don't send them to war. He's right. We paid for 2 unfunded wars on a credit card. Now it's time we invest in those who put themselves in harm's way to protect our security. It's time for us to worry about some of the things we need to do here at home. It's time.